Certainly, Dr. Young leads the charge at our church for so many years in a magnificent way.
You know, Dr. Young has Christmas, he told me the other day, is his favorite time of year. And we were in the middle of a promotional meeting, and he said, promote it big because I'm so excited about seeing it. And I said, well, Pastor, we're going to share this today on radio and get as many people in the door as we can. Dr. Young's heart is the gospel. And what you will see in this program, the gospel is threaded from beginning to end. And, you may be coming to be entertained, and we hope that happens. You may be coming just because it's a family tradition, but more than that, Second cares about you. Dr. Young's heart is you as a person, as an individual, as a person that God loves. And so that's his heart, and he's given us a tremendous platform when you think about it, an entire weekend that we're able to take not only the additional hours out of a Saturday and Sunday, but he's given over the worship services for us to make this presentation because he knows that it's the gospel being presented. So I just want to encourage every person within the sound of my voice to be a part of the 16th and or 17th. Bring a friend, a neighbor, a family member. I promise you it will be worth your time to be there, and we will love having you at Second. Just visit second.org. You can find all the ticket information there, the 16th and the 17th. Visions of Christmas, a Woodway Worship and Arts Spectacular.
Welcome to Successful Living with Bill Knapik. Every week, we talk with interesting people in a variety of professions for ideas to enhance your success in all aspects of life. Successful Living with Bill Knapik starts right now. Here's Bill Knapik.
Welcome to the show. It is Successful Living, and today a very special edition as we're going to focus on one of the great Christmas events. That's right, I said the word Christmas because it is upon us, and there are special things going on at Second Baptist right here, especially on the Woodway campus. And today we're going to talk about a big event there, and I have the worship pastor. His name is Rodney Brooks, along with super guests that are part of the music ministry at Second Baptist. The title of the show, there are many things going on in the month of December, certainly all year long, but certainly in December at Second Baptist Woodway and all our 7 campuses. But on the Woodway campus, you're going to enjoy what we talk about today, hear a little bit behind the scenes. So let's welcome our worship pastor at Second Baptist Woodway. His name is Rodney Brooks. Rodney, welcome to the show.
Bill, thank you. It's great to be here.
Here we are. A year has gone by, and we're in the same seats talking about a brand new show. But first of all, let's tell people, before we get into the show, let's tell people what you do at Second on a regular basis, week in and week out.
Well, I have the privilege and the pleasure of working with some of the most gifted musicians to be found anywhere. Every single week, we're leading thousands, literally, in worship with a fabulous choir and orchestra, and just preparing the hearts for the Word of God every single week. So it's a real joy.
Indeed, every week is a special event, and we are there to serve not just at Woodway, but all our 7 campuses.
Absolutely.
And I said the word Christmas because I can't believe it's right here around the corner. We do so many special things at Second for Christmas, but let's tell people about Visions of Christmas.
Well, Vision of Christmas is an idea that really features and showcases the entire Woodway Worship and Arts Ministry. It uses dancers, instrumentalists, vocalists, scenic pageantry, fabulous costumes, children, adults of all ages, anything and everything you can imagine Christmas will be displayed on that stage in a 1 hour and 10-minute show. It's going to be fast and furious. You won't be bored for 1 second, I promise you. And there's something for every single member of the family, no matter age, background, likes and dislikes. It's all there. Something for everybody.
What's interesting, I think people that are listening right now, certainly at the time of broadcast in Houston and maybe beyond, but those in Houston, there are people listening that have been to our presentations year in, especially the Christmas one, year in and year out. But I bet there are a few people listening right now that are thinking, well, I've never been there. We're Second Baptist. We're at Woodway and Voss, right in Houston, is where this presentation will take place. And I want to give a special invitation to those that may not have ever walked into the door of our church, any of our locations, but certainly for this event. If you have not been to our church, please join us for our presentation, and it's on the 16th and 17th of December with 6 presentations. But please join us. You will be blessed. Bring the family, bring the kids. It's going to be awesome.
It really will be. And, you know, just the beauty of our worship center is something to behold. When you walk in the room, you just feel something special is about to take place. And indeed, that is exactly what's going to happen. So if you've never been to the property of Second Baptist on the Woodway campus, you're in for a real treat with just being in the room, not to mention all the glorious, fabulous music that we have prepared. You know, Bill, you mentioned it's already Christmas, but quite honestly, we've been living Christmas since July, which is really
right.
when this idea was birthed. And it's exciting to finally see it, to make it to the stage. And a lot of work, a lot of hours, and manpower has been put into this program.
Well, and I think what's going to be interesting today, we'll remind people along the way of the times and so forth, but also those people listening and even members that are part of the choir that you see on a regular basis, that I see, they're going to get a little bit of behind the scenes, something so that when we see the presentation, what we talk about today is going to make it maybe extra special and also exciting, as we have such gifted people. You mentioned the gifted people. We have 3 others right here,
Yes.
super gifted. We're going to hear from them too along the way.
Yes, we are, because each person on our team brings something unique to this show. We have fantastic arrangers, choreographers, songwriters, scenic design folks, where their giftedness is in the vision, the visual aspects of the program. So really it takes an entire team to bring this kind of program to the stage. And what I enjoy about this particular program, maybe unlike some of the other years in the past, and they've all been wonderful, is this is a little different direction for us in that it's completely 100% musically driven. So if you're wanting to see a program that is more music than anything else, even more than just theatrical drama or just dance, in other words, everything is enhanced with powerful music, wonderful voices, great talent, world-class instrumentalists, this is the place to be for this year's Visions of Christmas.
In fact, backing up just a little bit, as you mentioned, on a regular weekend, whatever normal is, when people visit our worship center, right there, it's something to behold. And now, as we prepare for this presentation, it's going to be extra special in terms of the technology. Our tech people are incredible. The lighting, as you mentioned, the set that I know is coming is incredible all on its own. So when all that comes together, and when we add the people, the musicians and so forth, about how many people would you say in terms of choir, singers, and musicians, about how many hundred?
My goodness.
And then the children, we're going to talk about the children's role
yes.
as well.
You know, I would estimate over 300 people with cast, choir, orchestra, behind the scenes, technical crew. It really takes an army to produce this kind of show. But you mentioned the technology. Last year, we tried our hand at LED backdrops, and it was a game changer, to be honest with you, because we can take our audience anywhere, and I mean literally anywhere in the world, and we're going to do that. As a matter of fact, one of the featured songs is Christmas Around the World, and we're going to take them to Paris. We're going to take them to Africa. We're going to take them on a journey of musical style and scenic presentation that really, quite honestly, is second to none, and fantastic music to exemplify each of those styles. And today, especially, you see so many churches that are unfortunately without choirs. Well, if you enjoy choir, you're going to see a choir used to its fullest, not only in just what you might expect from a church, but in secular presentation, as well as gospel, classical, Latin, you name it, we're going to bring it. So I'm really excited about the the diversity and style that we're going to bring to this show.
Once again, the title of the show is
Visions of Christmas.
Visions of Christmas, December 16th and 17th. There'll be 6 presentations. 2 of them are complimentary, free if you will, but
Yes.
also as we record this show right here today, we're already selling tickets at second.org.
We are. Second.org is where you can find out even more information about the show as far as tickets. They range from $15 to $35, depending on your seat. But as you mentioned, there are 2 complimentary shows which fall in the hour of our normal service times, which is at 9:30 and 11 o'clock. But outside of that, if you don't want to have to worry about getting a seat or getting there early enough to get a good seat, you can always purchase a ticket, and that's well worth its money to be able to walk in, know that your seat has been reserved for you in the place that you would like to be for the very best viewing.
There are so many great seats at our worship center, and I've been to most of them. So if you're listening right now, let's say you're driving around in your car, you hear about this. As soon as you stop, when you get to your house, get on the computer, get some tickets. Again, 16th and 17th of December, Woodway and Voss, 6400 Woodway Drive, Second Baptist Church. Well, Rodney, let's meet some of the talented people that are part of this thing.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk to him right now.
I want you to meet John Stanley. John is one of the front runners in arrangers in the country, and we are so proud to have him on our team. And he has developed arrangements for many of our pieces in so many different styles. Matter of fact, and I know he'll speak about this, but one of our songs, I think we go through 5 different styles in about 5.5 minutes. Now, that is a feat unto itself.
If anyone can do it, John Stanley
John
can do
Stanley.
it. No question.
Y'all are kind. Y'all are kind. Yeah, it's exciting. It's super exciting. I appreciate the trust with Rodney and just enabling to get the chance to do this, to work with such a killer orchestra, which includes you, Bill.
I do my part. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. And also, amazing vocalists like Jeff, you'll hear from him. Joy, you'll hear from her as well. Another arranger who wasn't able to be with us today, but Josh Smith is also part of what we're doing. And it's always just a joy to be able to bring all of us together and work on a production like this, especially one so musically driven. It's almost kind of a dream come true for an arranger like myself, and who's producing and composing and all those other things. It's a real dream come true, because you really do get, like, for this particular show, there's so many styles, and like what Rodney's talking about, there's one particular one that we're doing, and it's We Three Kings, and it's Christmas around the world, and we'll start off in France, and then we'll go to Spain, and then right out of Spain we'll go to India, and then we'll go to Africa, and then we're going to finish it off with a Celtic number, and all of that is in one piece. And for me, it was just a true joy getting to dive into those styles and just those cultures. You really try to immerse yourself whenever you're working on pieces like this in the cultural variety of what those cultures bring musically to the table. And so getting to dive into those styles has been a lot of fun. It's been a challenge to bring them all together in one form of a medley, but for them to flow seamlessly but still have the true stylistic nature of those cultures involved in what we're bringing to the table has been a lot of fun. So,
well, give us an idea, John, on this particular song. How did it start? Give people an idea how you approach that, because you could do it like they normally do in one style. Pick your style.
Yeah.
But how did you approach it to say, okay, I'm going to make this a real journey through the world?
Yeah. So it was really actually a team effort. It was it was an idea that we brought up last year. And we thought this could be really cool to do, but last year we were like, we can't do it in this show, so we'll hold it off for a year. But it was really a lot of us who got together on the team, on the creative team, which is, there's quite a variety of individuals on the team. And, Rodney Brooks, he's like, well, what if we went to this part of the world? What if we started off in this part of the world? Jeff also had his 2 cents in about, getting into Africa and possibly a Celtic thing. And so all of us kind of threw those ideas in together. And then it was just kind of like, well, let's figure out my job is to basically figure out how to tie those worlds to be a part of it. And so in my mind, I'm trying to think of what it's going to sound like instrumentally, the best places for the choir to come in, who we can feature as instrumental soloists. And, our orchestra has some of the finest musicians in Houston, and I venture to even say some of the finest musicians in our nation, who have, when COVID happened, we had a lot of transfer from people moving in from California, from New York, and from Chicago, and from Boston, and we had a lot of people move in who were amazing musicians. We held auditions, really opened the floor to anybody who wanted to be a part, and we had incredible musicians show up to those auditions and say, hey, they want to be a part of what we're doing. And so you look at a group like that and you think, well, how now can we really utilize them to their fullest? And so, like with when we go to France, like, you're using some traditional things that you would find if you were just walking down the street. So we've got an accordion involved, and we've got.
You're reading my mind. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, I think I hear an accordion.
Yeah, definitely got an accordion involved in that, and like a little mandolin kind of with a tremolo shake going on, playing the melodic, playing the melody of We Three Kings, and then we transfer that into going to Spain, and it has a very, very. Very Spanish kind of feel, Spanish guitar, but also very Latin, very colorful. Samba, very colorful. I mean, just a lot of that culturalistic atmosphere involved in that song. And then we move from that we go to India, and it's a Bollywood kind of theme. Mm-hmm. And so my inspiration for that was, I dove into films that feature a lot of music that's from India, and so I jumped into Slumdog Millionaire, just kind of listened to some of those songs, and really the song Jai Ho really stuck out to me, and so I thought, well, that'd be cool to incorporate that kind of style into what we do, especially if we're going to do like a Bollywood theme. And so transferring that kind of stylistic approach into We Three Kings was really fun, trying to figure that out. And then we go from there and we go to Africa, and that, real tribal, and so I dove into the culture of that and just listening, like, what do they do in Africa? So they've got tribal chants. They've got lots of drums. They feature, like, a lot of African music has flutes that's featured in it, marimbas that are featured in it, and drums. And so trying to figure out how to bring those two worlds together. And so we have an incredible flautist that's in our show, and his name's Doug DeVry, and he plays every flute imaginable. And so featuring, like, the Kasa flute, which is real a prevalent flute in Africa and within that culture. And so bringing that to the forefront, as well as getting a lot of drummers to play a lot of hand percussion and stuff like that. And then I have what I call it's like a belly marimba. It's a marimba that's portable, that kind of hangs over your back and kind of rests on your belly a little bit, and you can play it, and it's like a portable marimba that they can carry around. And so it's got a lot of those African culturalized flutes in it, and instrumentation in it, plus vocally some chants that go on and different things like that. And then we move right into a river dance thing with a Celtic vibe, which is a lot of fun. We've got dancers from Spa that are coming into that. We're featuring an Irish fiddleist, and then Doug is going to switch over to play the Irish flute, because he's going to run off stage, change costumes, and come back out with an Irish flute. And so we've got like all of these cultures that are kind of meshing and coming in together, and it's going to end with a real big bang at the end of the Celtic version.
And keep in mind, this is one song.
Yeah.
That sounds like an entire musical.
So, yeah.
It's one song. And one of the things, if I can just add this, being in Houston, it's such a diverse city. Mm-hmm. And one of the thoughts that came, you asked originally, how did the idea came about? We wanted to reflect Houston. And so we thought about the cultures that are represented here. And we thought, let's give our folks, especially our guests who are not members of Second yet, when they come in, to identify with some of the musical styles that we're doing, and to do it with a familiar Christmas carol.
Yeah.
And so that was the genius behind it.
Yeah. So there's so much more that goes on in this show, and like Rodney has already mentioned, it is so varied stylistically. It's crazy. Like, we're going to start off with more of a Nutcracker, Toyland kind of vibe that Josh has worked up, and it's going to be very magical. very awe and wonder-esque meets, which Nutcracker already kind of is, but it's kind of got that vibe to it where the toys kind of come to life. And so it's a wonderful combo of those kind of styles. And then we've got a fun Carol of the Bells, which is like Trans-Siberian Orchestra meets, I guess, for lack of a better term, Hans Zimmer. And it features like an electric cellist solo, as well as electric guitars, as well as a full drum line, as well as our choir. And so you got that kind of musical number that was fun to put together. And so there's so many more things like that. We've got a vintage medley that we're doing that it's like you're on the set of a Bing Crosby TV show, and you're going to see
a lot
all
of
that
bases
go
being
on.
covered here.
Yeah. And so, that covers a multiplicity of stylistic genres that you feel like you're in the 1950s, And so all of that, it's got big bands, waltz kind of stuff, real syrupy, real big. And you think Bing Crosby, White Christmas, So
well, that's one of the points I was thinking of making early on when we were talking about the Three Kings, is that what people will hear, now I don't know, I wasn't in on the planning, but what people will hear as you describe this song, John, and that is that a lot of, if not most of what we do is written by our team, guys like Josh Smith, and as you're arranging. So I'm not sure of the word, but when people see what happens during this presentation, it's the people that they're seeing have been doing this, as you say, Rodney, since July, right?
Most of the people that you'll see on the stage, in some capacity, they might be like John is our drummer in the orchestra, but you might not know, or most might not know, that he arranged a lot of the pieces. Josh, the same thing. He'll be on keyboard in the orchestra, but he arranged many of the pieces. Jeff Anderson, with one of our special guests, Veritas, you'll hear from Jeff in just a moment, wrote one of the key songs in the program. So a lot of the people that the audience will see on stage are the creators of the show as well.
We're very blessed to have the talent that we do in our whole second family all over, but certainly at the Woodway campus that we all serve here in this room. Again, I'm talking with Rodney Brooks. I'm Bill Knapik, but also John Stanley is here as well. Every weekend, we're here to serve the Houston community, and also this is televised around the world with our media team at Second Baptist. So it's very exciting in that way. So we've talked about two songs, John. We can't get to all of them, but about how many songs are there, do you think, if you've counted already?
Oh, goodness. I
guess,
get lost in all of it, man. I would say 9. Is that about right?
There's probably between 9 and a dozen.
And if you take all the medleys in there, it's even more.
A lot of that, we wanted to pack as much music as we could in an hour and 10 minutes, so a lot of it's done in medley style.
Yeah.
Which we can put more music, more style in a shorter amount of time. So really, from downbeat to finish, it's nothing but musical extravaganza. It really is a spectacular.
It rolls a lot. Yeah, and like Rodney said, there's the originality behind it, like the song that Jeff wrote and that he and Josh worked on that arranged. It's so great. So you're going to have these big, grand, epic numbers. You're going to have numbers that bring you into a sense of awe. You're going to have musical numbers that take you back to the 1950s. It takes you kind of back home to that kind of feel. And then it's all the way across the board. It's every style you can imagine, and that's presented legitimately. I think every style.
Well, absolutely.
Except for heavy metal, which would be odd. But
probably not. If you're looking for
Carol of
heavy
the Bells gets close, but it's not quite there.
if that's what you're looking for. But it's going to be awesome. Once again, John, before we close the segment, what else do you want people to know about what you're doing here? And
oh, man, I would just say, any chance you get to come to Second and visit and check it out, every weekend we work with incredible talent and ability, but it's all to present the gospel of Christ. And that's from start to finish what we're all about. And so I would just encourage anybody, even if it's unlike any church out there, and I truly do mean that. We had a guy, an arranger came up this past Sunday and wanted to meet and talk, and he just said, I've never experienced a church like this. And he said, I've been to them all over the country, and never have I walked into a place and experienced what I just experienced. And so my encouragement to that is, even if you've never stepped foot inside the doors of a church, come check it out. I think you're going to be surprised at what you see and what you find.
No doubt about it. In fact, I'm a promoter, as you know. I'm inviting people all the time. Just here at the station while I was waiting for you, I was telling Sylvia, hey, you got to come to our presentation at Christmas. But here's my recommendation to anyone listening that has not been to our church, Second Baptist, especially the Woodway campus. This is where the presentation Visions of Christmas will take place on December 16th and 17th. 6 presentations. Here's what I would recommend. Certainly, get your ticket, plan on coming to one of the presentations. And one of the things that always happens, Rodney, is people come to that early presentation, they come back and they bring friends because they're so excited about it, and rightfully so. But my prescription is, yes, 16th and 17th, be there. But before that, as you hear this show right now, like you're saying, John, come to the church, check it out at one of our, quote, normal services and see what's happening. Yeah. You will be blessed. So let's take a short break, and we'll come back with much more.
So I just want to encourage every person within the sound of my voice to be a part of the 16th and or 17th. Bring a friend, a neighbor, a family member. I promise you it will be worth your time to be there, and we will love having you at Second. Just visit second.org. You can find all the ticket information there, the 16th and the 17th. Visions of Christmas of Woodway Worship and Arts. Spectacular.
Welcome back, and now we get to talk to Joy Mote. Joy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Well, Rodney, let's tell people a little bit about Joy from your perspective, and then Joy will actually tell us what's going on.
One of the things that we love at Second are kids. We love kids, and we've invested a lot in kids and the programming, but especially in music. And so Joy came to us, I guess it's been a little more than a year ago now, because we saw the need for a children's music ministry. And one of the things that I love, Bill, about what we do, not only just on a Sunday to Sunday, but in special presentations, when you see our stage, you will be looking at a lot of volunteers who have devoted their time, their skill, their talent for the Lord, and they're not being paid. They're doing it out of just pure love for the Lord and what He is doing through their giftedness. So one of the areas that we get to exercise that in a big way is in the area of children. And so we utilize children not only in our worship services in what we call multi-generational worship, but we include them at Christmas, one of the biggest times of the year, and Joy is the point person for getting those children ready, prepared, and on stage. And that's going to happen again this year.
And that's a big job, too.
Big job.
She does it frequently and does it very well. And I want to add, before we talk about the kids, and tell people that Joy also is a tremendous soloist and can sing in a beautiful way that touches people every time you step up to that microphone, Joy.
Thank you. That's very kind.
So speaking of the kids now,
yes.
How do you wrangle all these children? Because that is an art form all itself. Because anytime you have more than 2, 5, 10, and you're working with several, let's tell people what you do.
Yes. As Rodney said, the Children's Choir is a great place to exercise our use of our volunteers. We have some amazing volunteers who are gifted in acting and in singing, as well as in teaching. So on a weekly basis, we break out into small group rehearsals where those volunteer lead teachers will pour into these children. So it's a smaller teacher to child ratio. It's much more manageable when you're trying to teach them a lot of music. So that's one of our ways that we keep it under control, keep them wrangled. But we also have a fun time where they're all just playing musical fun games at the beginning, so they're able to get that energy out and get prepared to learn in their small group breakouts.
Well, we like to use the children in the presentation in about 3 different areas, and so it will vary in style, just like as we've already mentioned. There's a lot of stylistic changes throughout the show, but 2 areas particularly, they have this beautiful song that they sing as a choir, that they will be singing along with our adult worship choir. And then they have a special part in the Nativity. And Bill, as you know from being in the show, the Nativity is kind of the crowning moment of the evening. A lot of people come to worship services, especially presentations like we're doing, And while everything is great leading up to the nativity, that's what they really want to see. And we do it in a grand way. As a matter of fact, let me just mention to you that we have really stepped up our game on the nativity this year as far as dance, musicality, and we're introducing, for the first time in a few years, aerialist. And it's going to bring a whole new dimension using that beautiful worship center and all the airspace filled with angels.
We have some airspace.
We have a lot of airspace.
Glad we're using it again.
Mm-hmm.
But our children play a significant role in this moment right in the middle of the song, "O Holy Night." I'll let Joy talk about that.
Sure, yeah. So I would say that this whole show is going to the nativity. Everything is leading up to the nativity. And in that scene, we start off with Mary and Joseph and the baby, and it's layered on with the shepherds and even a little lamb, if we're lucky, a little lamb, and wise men and kings and dancers and aerialists, and it's huge. And all of a sudden, the floor drops and the children sing this beautiful moment that's so simple, and it's fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine when Christ was born. And it is arguably one of my favorite parts in the show, but also in the Christmas season. It's just so special. It takes your breath away. It comes out of nowhere. And the congregation is able to enjoy just the stripped away, innocent, beautiful child sound in this scene. So it's a really powerful moment that I think will be a takeaway for most people in the room.
It's really breathtaking because you have this massive sound with all the singers, the choir and the orchestra, the children, the pageantry, and then all of a sudden everything just goes silent. And as Joy said, this cast has bowed to the king, and no one is standing but the children, and they're standing alone with their lanterns in hand, and they sing "Fall on Your Knees." It's a moment that will take your breath away. I would say it's worth the attendance just for that one moment.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt about it. And one of the things when the children are there, and how old are the kids, by the way, in this particular show?
Yes, the children's choir is our 1st through 5th graders, and you'll also see children in other parts of the show. You'll see some dancing, but as far as the singers in this show, they are 1st through 5th.
Well, one of the things that I always notice from my perspective, playing the Hammond B3 organ, by the way, I have a great view and I love it. But when I watch the children, it's interesting to see when their screens, during a regular service, when their screens are on the on the screen, their faces are on the screen rather, people see that, how that touches people just before whatever they're singing, but just to see the kids, how excited they are, and even some of them aren't even paying attention sometimes. So that's part of where your job comes in, right, Joy? Staying focused. But right there, I think that's a very moving moment anytime we see children perform in this setting.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we are trying to foster in the children's choir is not only how to use your voice, but why you're using it. God gave everybody a voice, and it starts as a child learning why you do this, why you sing in church, why you give this gift that God gave to you back to God. So that's one of the things that we try to educate our children on a weekly basis as well.
And there's no doubt it registers.
It really does. And, nothing pulls an audience in faster than a child. And just the purity, the countenance of a child's face is just, it's attractive, it's mesmerizing, it draws you in to a moment where you really want the attention of the audience. And our children do a beautiful job in capturing our audience in that way.
That's what I was trying to say earlier, Rodney. that was beautiful. I'm in awe of just that. That was super awesome. What else should we know, Joy?
Well, the children's choir will have a few more opportunities this year. Like Rodney said, we had a multi-gen service just a few weeks ago where the children, our 1st through 5th grade children, sang with our 6th through 12th grade student choir as well as our adult choir for this wonderful big multi-gen service. So we're going to be doing another one of those on December 3rd, and it's going to be all Christmas music, and we'll be combining with our School of Performing Arts as well. They will be dancing in that, which is very special. And then we also have these really beautiful Christmas Eve services, candlelit Christmas Eve services that will feature a few children and students singing, speaking, praying, welcoming. It is a wonderful service, family service that uses real flames, might I add. So it's very special. So the children will be in that. And then we're very excited to be hosting a sacred musical for our children as well this spring. So we are gearing up for that, starting auditions and signups for that as well. And that's going to be in February. So those are some of the bigger opportunities that our children's choir is going to be having this year.
So like I said, you hear the show today, come to Second Baptist the next weekend. Don't miss anything, especially the show Visions of Christmas. And one of the things I might add is for all the people that are participating here, the staff, those that have been working since July, but just those that are performing and the children, there are rigors of practice that, people are going to see the 6 performances and presentations, but for the children and the adults, what they have to go through for practice, by the time people see it, it's going to be out of sight.
Well, we really have enjoyed the preparation time. And what I wanted to just share with the listeners, Bill, is if you have any interest in sharing your gift of music, vocally, instrumentally, in any capacity at all, we offer every opportunity to do that as one of our volunteers. Our children meet every Wednesday night at 5:30 in our brand new, fantastic children's building that we just opened this summer. At the same time, our adult choir, they're all volunteers, all walks of life, some who have been in choirs all their life, some that this is their first experience, at 6:30 every Wednesday night. We're always looking for more singers, for more participants, and Second Baptist offers that for every person who'd like to be involved.
So exciting. Joy, what else should we know?
You should definitely come. You don't want to
Every
miss
weekend.
this. You should, yes,
That's right.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Joy Mote. Now, Jeff Anderson is here. Speaking of gifted vocalists, Rodney, right?
You know,
Joy, I mean, if we had more time, we could have Joy sing and then Jeff, but let's see what Jeff has to say. Let's tell people about Jeff first.
Well, Jeff Anderson is a true gift to the worship ministry at Woodway, and we are blessed to have him not only in his undeniable ability to as a vocalist, as a fantastic tenor that we use weekly. He's a part of our praise team. He's one of our featured soloists many weekends, but he's also a member of our special guest group who will be with us in the presentation called Veritas. And as was already mentioned, Jeff wrote one of the songs, original songs that I'm sure he'll talk about in just a moment. But Jeff brings a lot to the table, and he's also, not only is he fabulous as a singer, songwriter, and instructor of students, he works with our children and students with joy. So he's everywhere.
You forgot to mention dance.
Dance?
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, and just choreography and interpretive dance, all that stuff. There's nothing like seeing a 300-pound man dance across the stage. No,
Talent abounds. There's no doubt about it. Well, Jeff, let's tell me the song that you wrote in the presentation. Again, those maybe just tuning in, the presentation at Second Baptist Woodway here in Houston, Texas. Yeah, the 4th largest city in the world, or in the United States anyway. Mm-hmm. December 16th and 17th. Jeff, the song you wrote is called
Christ Has Come. First of all, thank you, Bill, for letting us have the opportunity to be here. As we've all been mentioning, the planning for Christmas begins in July. We have this saying around Second, Christmas is tomorrow. And I think Rodney started that when he got here. And it really is, because the moment Christmas Eve is done, or Christmas Day is done, we are thinking about what we're going to do next year. So really what happened in the process of us kind of as a team, as John mentioned earlier, we were just vision casting, and we were just coming up with concepts and talking about different ideas and thoughts. And obviously I love to sing, I love to perform, but I really wanted to be a part of the creative process in a little bit bigger way this year. And so I don't write a lot of songs. I write periodically, and obviously when the Lord gives them to me. But we had begun talking about a concept, and I went back to my office and just started praying about it. And really within like 15 minutes, I wrote a chorus and a verse. And God just gave me the idea of, I'm a pretty simple guy, Bill. I wouldn't consider myself a deep thinker, but I started thinking about why did Christ come? What was his reasoning for what is Christmas all about? And in its simplest form, Christ came to save the world. It's a simple message, but salvation is simple because it's simple. It's in the fact that we just have to put our faith in Jesus. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to try to be perfect. We don't have to come to Jesus changed. He does all of that for us. We just simply say yes to him, And I tell people this all the time. Becoming a Christian is the most simple thing you can do in your life. Now, living as a Christian, as a follower of Christ, that's the hard part because we're human beings and we make a lot of mistakes, But as I started writing this song, I just started thinking about the things that God brought us. And, the Christmas season, we celebrate Advent. And we were talking about the Advent season. And those 5 elements that we talk about are hope, faith, love, peace, and joy. And so I wanted a song that kind of tried to encompass the Christmas story, the reason why Jesus came, and the things that we celebrate as believers. And so that's how it came to life.
And we started rehearsal on this song, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago. And, Bill, with a choir, they're a pretty good sounding group as far as, will this song make it or not? Will it connect? You can always tell within the first 5 minutes of reading through a piece. And I told Jeff on the way over here, as a matter of fact, man, that song just sticks. And I end up, or I find myself singing it a lot, just in the car or humming the chorus. It has a great hook, powerful words. He wasted no time with lyric. And the choir connected with it almost instantly. And that's how you know you've got a great song. And that's what he's got in Christ Has Come.
That sounds awesome. Yeah. You thought about it, the simple message. About what was the time frame till you had it finished to where you brought it to the choir or to Rodney and said, hey, here we go?
Yeah.
I'm just curious about that.
Well, like I said, I think I wrote the chorus and the bridge, the chorus and the first verse like in 15 minutes. The rest of it took about a month to kind of when I had time here and there. But what's really interesting is God took me through a little season of about 3 weeks where I wrote about 4 songs. And I had no agenda. I was just kind of putting my heart down on paper. And then I just kind of shared the song with Rodney and John at first, just to see if it connected, if they thought it would be something that we could do. And I just shared it with them. And then I worked with Josh Smith to put it down on paper. A lot of people don't know this, but I don't consider myself a musician. I'm mostly a singer. I don't chart things out. I don't play an instrument or anything like that. So I need assistance and help with that. And so I went to Josh and I just sang it to him. And then he charted it out and put this incredible melody to it with some really great piano riffs and stuff like that to kind of make it come alive. And then, so from start to finish, I think, it was just a few months, and then we had it in printed form and in hand by October.
I can hardly wait to hear it. But also, I want to tell people now, if someone wants to, I want them to know who we're talking to. You are Jeff Anderson. People can hear you at Second Baptist Church, Woodway campus primarily, and certainly on our show, Visions of Christmas, our Christmas presentation. But Jeff, where can people, if they're listening right now and they say, hey, I heard this guy named Jeff Anderson, and I want to hear what he sounds like, where can people hear some of your work? Because you've been with Veritas,
yeah.
But where can they go online, perhaps a website or something, because we're proud of you, and we want people to hear you all the time.
Well, you can go to any streaming platform, Spotify, iTunes. I have a couple of songs on there. And then obviously with Veritas, the group that I've been a part of for the last 11 years, Veritas Music, you can also go on iTunes, Spotify, or to veritasmusic.com, or should I say veritas5.com, and you can find our music there. But a lot of times, you can find me on YouTube or any of the streaming platforms. It's probably the best way. Or it's second.org.
Well, Rodney, if we only have a few minutes left, what didn't we cover? Certainly Dr. Young leads the charge at our church for so many years in a magnificent way.
Dr. Young has Christmas, he told me the other day, is his favorite time of year. And we were in the middle of a promotional meeting, and he said, promote it big because I'm so excited about seeing it. And I said, well, Pastor, we're going to share this today on radio and get as many people in the door as we can. Dr. Young's heart is the gospel. And what you will see in this program, the gospel is threaded from beginning to end. And, you may be coming to be entertained, and we hope that happens. You may be coming just because it's a family tradition, but more than that, Second cares about you. Dr. Young's heart is you as a person, as an individual, as a person that God loves. And so that's his heart, and he's given us a tremendous platform when you think about it, an entire weekend that we're able to take not only the additional hours out of a Saturday and Sunday, but he's given over the worship services for us to make this presentation because he knows that it's the gospel being presented. So I just want to encourage every person within the sound of my voice to be a part of the 16th and or 17th. Bring a friend, a neighbor, a family member. I promise you it will be worth your time to be there, and we will love having you at Second. Just visit second.org. You can find all the ticket information there, the 16th and the 17th. Visions of Christmas, a Woodway Worship and Arts Spectacular.
I like the way you said Woodway Worship and Arts, because there's so much more that goes on a regular basis, and that's December 16th and 17th, Visions of Christmas. But like I said, we want to see you there sooner, right, Rodney?
Absolutely.
How about next weekend and the weekend after that, just to get prepared and to see what we have to offer? Because at the end of every service, Dr. Young points to the red door, which means you are welcome. That door is open for you. Come on over, ask questions. We'd love to have you be a part of the church.
Absolutely. I promise you will not find a more friendly church than Second Family. And we'd love to see you come. We would love to show you around, invite you to be a part of the fellowship. But you're right. Every Sunday is a spectacular if you think about it. We use choir and orchestra, great music, wonderful preaching from the Word. But, December is practically all music. We do the first two Sundays in December. It's practically a musical in and of itself. When you think about it, we probably do 4 musicals in December. We do the first 2 Sundays in December. We do our presentation, Visions of Christmas, and then we do Christmas Eve and Christmas Eve on top of that. So December 2nd is the place to be, but we'd love to have you in November too.
No doubt about it. Thank you all for listening to the show. I'm your host, Bill Knapik, together with Rodney Brooks, Jeff Anderson, John Stanley. We want to say also hi to Josh Smith out there who's not here, Joy Mote. So once again, the church website is second.org. We want to see you there next weekend. And of course, at our special presentation, Visions of Christmas, December 16th and 17th. Oh yeah, 6 presentations. You're going to want to come back and see it again and again. and even next year, right, Rodney?
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening, and we will see you next week.